Rastafari is an indigenous black spiritual system, but what if I told you there were some links between Hinduism and Rastafari that most people don't know about? And no, I don't mean the locks. Here are some links between Hindus, India and Rasta that I guarantee you didn't know about. Stick around to the end. The last one will make you go, One of the founders of Rastafari, Joseph Hibbert, indicates that he came to the conclusion that a black god must exist based upon his study of Hinduism. In an interview, Hibbert says, "In 1921, I acquired books to know about Hindu gods, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Ashoka, and so on. And I became convinced that Africa also has such a god, except that we do not know of him." Now there are 4 founders of Rastafari, and they each came to the conclusion about the nature of God individually, separate from each other. Hibbert here is indicating that while he's not a Hindu, he does believe that God led him to the discovery of Rastafari through his study of other religions. Specifically by reading Hindu holy books, he got a flash of inspiration that convinced him that an African god must exist and set them on the path to discovering him, and that brought us eventually Rastafari. Next, did you know that Hindus used to be one of the most fervent followers of the street preaching of Leonard Howell, one of the founders of Rastafari? Howell had been preaching about Rastafari as early as 1932, and he did this on the street. Eventually, they kicked him out of Kingston and he moved to St. Thomas, where he continued the street preaching. One of the things that is little known and exposed by Jake Homiak, who's a Rastafari anthropologist, is that some of his most dedicated followers were the Hindus who were living in and around St. Thomas at the time. They were regularly known to follow Howell and support him and be at his street preaching meetings in the early days of the formation of the religion now known as Rastafari. Next, the Hindus who immigrated to Jamaica and the black people already in Jamaica had something in common, which is that their lifestyle and beliefs were both hated by the religious elite. Hindus arriving in Jamaica were coming into a different climate than what they would have experienced in other countries like Guyana or Trinidad. In Jamaica, these communities did not segregate but mixed together. The religious elite in Jamaica did not make a distinction between them. They simply saw them both as 2 groups of pagans, one with indigenous African practices and another with indigenous East Indian practices, both of which they disliked. What they said about them will tell you exactly how they saw them. The immigration of a number of heathen and pagan foreigners with their religious superstitions, idolatry, and wickedness will act most injuriously on the morals of the black inhabitants and hinder very much the efforts that are now in operation for their moral and religious improvement. In other words, if these Indians come, they're going to undo all the hard work that we've done to eliminate indigenous spiritual systems altogether. Here's another thing that you may not know. Hindus in Jamaica used to be one of the biggest buyers of the marijuana grown at the Pinnacle Rasta compound in Jamaica. Pinnacle was one of the earliest Rastafari compounds in Jamaica, and it was known as a place where some of the most high-quality ganja grows. When asked who the major buyer was for the cannabis that was being grown at the Pinnacle compound, Bill Howell, son of Leonard Howell, indicates that it was being grown for the purchase of an Indian fraternity, which he mysteriously called Kapatula. The identity of the Kapatula fraternity is unknown to this day. It is known that it was a group of Indians residing in Jamaica. Here's another one that you definitely don't know. Leonard Howell had an East Indian bodyguard, a man named Lalu. In the early days of Rastafari, its followers were often imprisoned, beaten, and abused by the religious elite and the government. For his own protection, Leonard needed a bodyguard. And that's where Lalu comes into the picture. Lalu spent a lot of time with Leonard as a result of being his bodyguard. It is alleged that Lalu is the one who gave Leonard Howell his Hindu name, which is Gunguru Maraj. Maraj was a common last name of the Indian indentured laborers who were being brought to Jamaica at the time. That name Gong was later taken by Bob Marley as his personal nickname. Later, it would be passed down to Bob Marley's son, Damian Marley, as his nickname, Junior Gong. And now, this one I know for sure you didn't know. One of the most recognizable Rastafarian words is actually a Hindi word. Specifically, Hindus have a goddess named Kali. Kali symbolizes destruction, creation, and an intense, powerful female energy. Now, of course, Hindus and Afro-Jamaicans exchanged words to make their life and work together easier. One of the words that successfully transitioned from Hindi into everyday Jamaican and Rasta usage is the word Kali. Now, in the Rasta context, Kali simply means cannabis. It's a popular word in the Rastafarian vocabulary, with many songs referencing it. It's normal for words to get exchanged between languages, but this particular exchange, using the name of a powerful god as the name of a powerful Rastafarian sacrament herb, almost makes you think perhaps they chose it deliberately. And that's it. That's 6 things you did not know about the connection between Rasta and Hinduism. Now that you know this, let me ask you a serious question. Does it mean Rasta is any less valuable because we've acknowledged some of the circumstances surrounding its origin? If you think so, I'd like to propose a different way of thinking. You see, Rastafari has always been a non-confrontational, non-proselytizing religion. That means that it does not impose itself, neither does it go out to try to spread itself by force. In my observation and experience, its power doesn't come from it having a false sense of a pure origin. Its power comes because it gives Black people in the diaspora and across the world access to an authentic indigenous Black spiritual system, a shortcut to the divine that does not require you to go through any other culture. When you look at Rastafari, you see Black people doing what we've always done across the world, using what we have, sewing a fashionable suit out of scraps of cloth. The facts in this video don't alienate us from our ancestors. As a matter of fact, they bring us closer.